Alright, hello everybody watching, and be nasty. Welcome back to Operation Michael, our current Global War 1914 game, where we are going to be doing in this video the Russian turn, the American turn, and then the random events, and the Japanese entry roll. Excuse me. I went ahead and updated the Romanians with French units. I completely forgot, but when we went to war, they aligned to us as well. So we should actually update that on the tech chart. Okay, it's already updated. So that's good. I guess Bulgaria. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about that as well. Maybe Be Nasty could answer this. I'll put a white circle around it. Um, on the last, excuse me again, on the last turn, uh, Bulgaria wasn't at neutral. It was at ports open, I do believe. And the last country who attempted to influence them, which was a miss, was I think the British. So I wasn't sure if on the Austrian turn they rolled to successfully move them over at the ports open level to the Ottoman track. Because I know you can move them over sideways, but I wasn't sure if it's like if that would have had to be the Ottomans who'd move them over. Because then if the Ottomans had a successful roll and it was already at their track, because the Austrians, I could see how it'd be true, but I haven't had a chance to watch the two videos for that. But I was just a bit confused how they ended up there. But I imagine that's the case. But I'll just put that there for now. Maybe Be Nasty could off camera explain that to me, or I'll go and watch the video back. But anyway, that aside, yeah, Romania is updated, but I wouldn't have moved these units or done anything like that for now. I'm fine with how that is. Oh, and I also didn't realize in the new rule changes when you have a damaged factory, um, you can still roll for tech, and there's a couple of things you can still do as long as it's damaged less than 5. So it had 3 damage, just like the Germans. But yeah, it was less than 5. So off camera, I tried to roll for, I think it was wartime economy. Yeah, okay. And I was already at stage 2, but I missed that anyway, so we don't really have to worry about that too much. Uh, Otherwise, oh yeah, the only other housekeeping is the Mexicans don't in fact collect IPP in this conflict. That was definitely a mistake on my part. Um, I thought because they had Mexico City on the minimap, like Mexico itself in the game, there is a territory that's worth an IPP. Yeah, Eastern Mexico, which on the minimap is where you'd have Mexico City. I was just a bit confused because unless there's a random event where the U.S. or somehow another power gets into Mexico and takes Mexico City and would be collecting that, um, they don't. I got a bit confused why you would have it worth an IPP. But then again, if that was the case in the Balkan War, like some of these countries too would be collecting money as well. So Be Nasty said he was fine leaving it, but I'll any troops I had bought, but I definitely want things to be fair, and it's more interesting that way, anyways, because it's my own mistake. So I did buy a militia at one point in the prequel, and I upgraded an infantry unit, so we'll just delete those 2 units. And otherwise, I'll leave things as they are. That's fine. But yeah, we'll delete those because that was my mistake. so I definitely want to do that. Anyway, we'll get to the Russian turn. So Russia has one major factory, so we get the one tech roll, and we'll try to go for wartime economy. That's a 1, a miss. The bad luck continues so far this turn. Purchases. We got 19 to spend. So I think we'll definitely buy 1 infantry for 3. 2, 3. So that's 4 infantry for 12. Four, 5. Hmm. I'll have to double check too for the commanders, see if they're effective or not. I can't remember exactly how to tell all that. What else do we have though? We'll spend 4 to buy a Cossack. That'll be 16. And then we'll spend 1 on diplomacy. And then 2 to upgrade a militia. Yeah, upgrade a militia to a regular infantry unit. We'll do that. So that'll be our 19 in total. So we'll go ahead and roll our diplomacy. For that, we will try to go for Belgium. See if we can bring them down. So we need a 2 or less. We're trying to bring it down the German track. 5, that's a miss. In terms of attacks, we'll have this Russian coastal submarine move 1 and raid the Baltic line. Go ahead and roll that out quick. Black will be the attacker, and set a +1, red's the defender. Okay, so that's max damage, 7 to 2. So the Germans will go down. Oh, there we go. 2 IPP on the Baltic line. What else? We will that's it for attacks for now. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Does Russia have a seaplane? I thought we started with a seaplane. I guess not. Yeah, so that. Oh, actually, we will have another tag. We'll have the coastal sub that's in the Black Sea attempt to raid that territory. Yeah, we'll do that. See what happens with that. So, same thing. Be at a +1. Black will be attacker. Red will be the defender. Bam, 6 again. Oh, so max damage. So good luck on the convoy rolls this turn. So 1 damage against the Black Sea Line for the Ottomans. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for now. So non-combat, let's see here. We'll have this militia from northern Kazakhstan. Walk down into Mangistau. We'll have this militia in Mangistau walk down into Turkmenistan. We'll rail this infantry from Tsaritsyn down into, yeah, Turkmenistan. Uh, 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 uh. We'll move this Cossack from Kiev 1-2 into Donetsk Kuban. This cavalry from Kiev 1-2 into Donetsk Kuban. Did we already? Yeah, we railed an infantry there. We'll take the infantry in Crimea and move him over into North Caucasia. We will pick up, as well at the same time, we'll pick up from southern Ukraine the infantry, drop them off in North Caucasia. We'll rail an infantry from Lapland all the way down to Transcaucasia. That's our 2 rail movement. This artillery will move over into Kiev. This artillery will move into eastern Ukraine from Orel Kursk. Uh, this cavalry will move to eastern Ukraine. This Cossack will move from Smolensk to southern Belarusia. This fighter, which I think the fighters have a range of 4 and 16, a 2, yeah. Okay, so a range of 2. So that fighter, whoop, sorry about that. We'll fly him 1, 1, 2 down to southern Belarusia. The infantry in Latvia, maybe leave that there. Now we'll move an infantry from Latvia into Lithuania. Move the artillery from Latvia into Lithuania. Actually, no, we'll leave that in Latvia. Move the recon balloon into Latvia. We'll walk an infantry out of Warsaw into Grodno province. This one, this one. These 2 cavalry in Warsaw. We'll have those go this Cossack that's in Smolensk, actually, we'll move it, instead of moving it to Smolensk, we'll move it in Orel Kursk and then into eastern Ukraine. These 2 regular cavalry, we'll move them into Grodno province. And then with the truck, which is a movement of 2, I think. Airglass, airships. Major power, 2 each transport units, 2 spaces. There's land units, okay. So the truck will move the militia from Moscow 1, 2 into Smolensk. And then our pre-dread and our cruiser, those are going to join the British in that space here with them. So they're not part of the First Fleet, but they're just joining up with the First Fleet. So we'll just put them there for now. And then this torpedo boat destroyer will move one P1, 2, 3 into A5. Otherwise, I think that is it. Yes, that should be okay for now. So now just place units. So we got the unit we're going to be upgrading. That'll be this guy here. That moved to Smolensk. So there is a manpower there, so we can still upgrade him. So there we have it. So that manpower is used up. We'll place an infantry unit in Grodno province. We'll place one in Lithuania. Oh, there we go. We'll place one Cossack in eastern Ukraine. Actually, no, we'll place it in Torita instead. Yeah, we'll do that. And then or no, we'll place it. No, sorry, we'll place it in Donetsk Kuban. We'll place an infantry unit in Transcaucasia, and then over in Kiev. Yeah, in Kiev, we'll place an infantry unit. Otherwise, that'll be it for the Russian turn. They'll collect their 17 IPPs. And that's it for them. So now on to the American turn. This is the first turn that we do the Chinese warlord era as well. So I don't think the Americans will collect that as well. I definitely didn't add the last turn. I'm not sure if it's the last two turns I've forgotten about that, but I know for a fact I keep forgetting about that Peking IPP. So the Americans should definitely be a 10. It might even be 11 or 12, but it's not the end of the world. Again, my own fault for forgetting. But I know for a fact I didn't collect it the last turn. And I actually just want to see for that event. I think we just give it back. Albania demands, balance of power. Must be. Japanese posturing, nationalist. Iparanga, inspired leadership. Alliance building. War plan yellow. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it was in the spring 1912. Nanking withdraw. U.S. loses. These images Nanking receives that withdraw at the end of 19. Oh, okay. Okay, so so they don't have 10. So we're in 1914. So at the end of 1913, we were supposed to withdraw. Well, whoops. It says remove, so I think that unit just gets deleted. So there we go. That's resolved. But okay. Chinese retain their ships and they'll remain in port. Yeah, so we'll just move these off to the side, but they are in port. Okay. See, some of the events you have to go back to double check them because you forget. It's been such a long time. Anyway, though, U.S. still can't roll technology or nothing like that. They can basically just purchase units. Well, actually, so we'll start with the D6 income increase roll to see by how much we go up. And I'll make a copy. This nice green dice matches the color. 5. I mean, US has been rolling pretty good in terms of this. So they go from 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so up to 14 IPPs. So I have 14 IPPs. Oh, they're one shy of lend leasing. So they can do diplomacy rolls in Central and South America. They could do cash and carry. And we don't know yet if Japan's going Central Power, so basically can ignore that for now. Do we want to do diplomacy? I think let's try to spend 1 for Brazil, because why not? And then with our remaining 8 IPPs, we will build 2. Oh, are the US missing? Huh, interesting. The Americans are missing their sculpt for their elite unit. We'll have to add one of those, the Marines. I'll build 2 of those. For now, I'll just take a naval infantry. I'll mark it as a Marine, which that costs 4 each. So build 1 in Washington, 1 in New York. Or sorry, you can only build 1 of those actually. So instead of that, we'll build 1 of those and then a mountain infantry. And that'll be all of our IPPs spent. And the mountain infantry will build it in the Carolinas. But interesting. I didn't even notice that till now. So we'll definitely get that updated with its own sculpt eventually. Otherwise, we just have the diplomacy roll. So we're trying to bring Brazil up. So we need a 3 or less. That's a miss. Nothing happens there. So the Americans will collect 14 at the end of this turn. Oh, and then we also have these guys here. I think here we'll walk a militia, a walk-on attack into eastern Mexico from Oaxaca. Non-combat, we'll just have a 2 mountain infantry walk over. Have a cavalry go in here. And have a cavalry go into Mexico City. And then recruitment, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's a miss. Okay. So yeah, now collect our IPP. That's it for the American turn. Now we move on to the first turn for the Chinese. Yep. So we gotta go ahead and pull the random event card, which is always quite fun to do. The Russian random event deck's definitely, I think, a bit more interesting because they're more varied, but I quite like the Chinese Warlord era stuff as well. So first one is Xinjiang. So conduct a mandatory offensive from one territory into one adjacent territory for 1 round. If no adjacent territories contain nationalist forces, the warlord must attack another warlord. So Xinjiang would be this faction here. So it kind of works out because there's no warlord, so it might not affect my turn too much. I don't think. We'll have to see. Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember in the YouTube wars what the best way to do this is because that should happen immediately. Hmm. Yeah, so these two units would have to, based on this, either attack the warlords in Sian, Shenxi, Sichuan, Yunnan, or Tibet. Oh, we gotta change the color too of the Tibet militia. Forgot about that. Yeah, so be nasty. I'll leave that up to you, but I'll make a note of that, and yeah, we'll have to figure out the best way to do that. Chinese stuff. Next card is Nationalists, so collect 3 additional IPPs this turn. So we got 6 to spend. And the final card is Xinjiang, so add 1 artillery to any territory. So the mandatory offensive would happen first. So we'll just place that in Xinjiang. I'll put a white circle around it. It can either go into Xinjiang or Qinghai, or technically, if they happened in an attack to take a territory, it could go in that one as well, because it would then be a Xinjiang territory. Odds are they would probably attack the Shenxi here. Like ideally, you try to attack somewhere where you're going to cause the least amount of damage. If you have to attack another warlord, because you don't want the warlords as the central box play to eliminate each other. But like I said, we'll leave that like that for now. I don't think it'll have a huge effect on the Chinese turn, but going forward, we'll have to figure out how to do that best because that offensive should have happened immediately, followed by me collecting the money, and then this one. But it's fine for now. Otherwise, I don't think we'll have any attacks. No, we won't do any attacks. We'll just non-combat move. I just want to double check. I believe the warlords get to non-combat move as well. 2012. That's turn sequence. Genius combat move, combat, non-combat. Okay, so the nationalists do their non-combat and combat before the warlords can non-combat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we'll just do our non-combat this turn. So we'll move Nationalist Unit 2 infantry into Nanking. And then from Kwangtung, we'll move up an infantry, and the artillery. And we'll move a militia over into Kwangtung. So that'll be it for the Nationalist Chinese turn. Oh, and spending, actually, sorry. They have 6 to spend, so we can buy infantry, cavalry, cavalryman, infantry, and militia. We'll buy a mountain infantry for 4, and then a militia for 2. So that'll be all our IPP spent, and then we'll collect 3 because that didn't change whatsoever. So yeah. So on the German turn, again, we'll have to figure out exactly again the best way to do this is, but none of the warlords were attacked, but it's at this point technically before I place the units and collect income, that they could do any non-combat movement. So yeah, we'll have to figure this out. That's a problem with YouTube War, one of the problems. You have to make allowances for these kind of things. But anyway, we'll place a militia in Hui Chao, and we'll place the mountain infantry in Hunan province. So that'll be it for the nationalists. Now we move into the fall winter of 1914. While we're here, we'll place this unit that the British are going to get on the place units box and roll the random events. So fall winter 1914, west to start. So 6 is Lairn gun running. So place 1 free attacking neutral infantry in Ireland and resolve combat immediately. If the attacker succeeds, Ireland becomes a strict neutral. So Germans shipped 25,000 rifles of ammunition to Ireland, fueling conflict between British and separatists. So free attacking neutral infantry. Over in, did it say Ireland? Yeah, in Ireland. And before we forget, quick, these will get removed. All the it's at the end of every turn in this one. Calendar turn that the damage markers get removed. Okay, so in Ireland, and yeah, I had prepared for that event. So good luck. Well, I shouldn't say that knowing my luck. So it's flat terrain, Ireland. Don't have to worry about anything like that. So he'll be attacking at a 2. Of course, he gets a hit. And then I have an infantry defending at a 4 and a militia defending at, ooh, I did not want to do that. Yeah, let's just delete that one. And a militia defending at a 2. So blue at a 4, yellowish green at a 2. Okay, thankfully that hit. So we have to lose 1 unit, so we'll just lose the militia, but he is defeated. And that battle is over. Now for the fall winter east. So 5 Asian security. So the USA and Japan each place in the place units box of militia, coastal artillery fortification, 1 dreadnought at stage 4. The Americans get a dreadnought at stage 4. Japan's gonna get a dreadnought at stage 4, and then they get a militia, coastal artillery, fortification. I think that's fortification. Yeah, okay. A militia. Coastal artillery and fortification. So they must be placed in a friendly territory that is in or borders the Pacific Ocean during their respective nations' turns. So there you have it. So now the only other thing we got to do is roll for the Japanese entry roll. To see what happens with them. So the last turn, they were neutral. So now we're rolling for neutral Japan. So on a 5 to 12, they join the Allies. And then in terms of modifiers, we add a +1, which is in the new rules because Italy went Central Powers. So we'll go ahead and roll this. So whatever we get, +1. So that's an 8. So 5 to 12. So yep, so Japan joins the Allies and is aligned to the British Empire. So the Japanese start with 0 IPPs. We'll leave them there for now. But very good. We have the Japanese on our side. So otherwise, that should be everything covered. And we can go ahead and hand things on over to the Germans to do their turn. And then figure out and discuss how we want to handle the random events and all that stuff for China going forward. So good luck to the Germans.